सुनूं मैं नाम तेरा धड़कनों में, मजा आ जाए मौला दिल बदल दे, मजा आ जाए मौला दिल बदल दे, मौला या बदल दे दिल की दुनिया बदल दे, या खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे, या हवा हिर्स वाला दिल बदल दे, मेरा फलक में डूबा दिल बदल दे, या खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे, या
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, it's a Saturday, just gone past 10 o'clock. Guess what? It's time for the Dil Badal Day show. Yes, it's your favorite radio station. It's your favorite show. I don't know, on Saturdays, it has to be your favorite show because, alhamdulillah, how many years I've been doing it. Yes, my name is Faizal Joosab. This is the Dil Badal Day show, and with me is my co-conspirator, my colleague, my wife, and you know what, the charm of the show, Miss Baiman Joosab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, very beautiful Saturday.
Yes, it's nice and hot, and me, I'm a fan of heat, so I'm very happy.
Don't like cold.
Yes. So we're coming to you live from our studios at 207 West Road. And alhamdulillah, it's going to be a little bit of a short show today because we have a live outdoor broadcast, the cancer situation there. So we will be stopping abruptly and going there. But nonetheless, we thought it is important for us to carry on with our show because you know what? You guys do wait for us and we can't let you guys down. I mean, for almost 16, 17 years, we've been there. Last week, we spoke about an important thing that is happening in the community. It's about gaslighting. Unfortunately, we start hurting the people we love. Gaslighting is a psychological term, but it often happens in marriages. Now, if you just tuned in, you're wondering what's happening and why there's an urgency. Yes, this is not the normal format. I am a bit rushed, so I'm sorry for that. I do apologize. But this is a show about you, your marriage, your relationship, your happiness. Since we are family and marriage counselors, and this is what we do day in, day out, and it's consumed our life, alhamdulillah, and we're very passionate about it. It's our life's work. We stop divorces. We bring back the happiness, the smile in your marriage, and we kind of like end the trauma. Would you say that's the right thing that I'm saying, Misbah?
The trauma ends.
Yes. We try and end the trauma, heal
because
those
we
hearts.
understand people. When you understand their feelings, then it's faster to heal.
Alhamdulillah. You're right. Empathy is a very important part of life. And we would want you to also send in your messages. Remember, 0861904904 is if you want to call in and we can hear you live. Or if you want to send it anonymously on WhatsApp, obviously it'll be a question or maybe a comment. That's on the WhatsApp line, the studio line. It's 060-904-1056, 060-904-1056. And if you want to send me a message on my line, remember this is my line, you can contact me if you have any issues in the future as well too. But SMSs for now, 083-7789-314, 083-7789-314. So, Misbah, last week we were talking about gaslighting, and the week before we were talking about silent treatment.
It's a very nice topic, and we had a lot of response.
Alhamdulillah, very good responses. People really appreciated it because these are topics that are not really easily discussed in the community.
And also, I think, easily understood as well.
Yeah, I hope we did a good enough job. Okay. But today we're going to talk about what it leads to. It leads to cold marriages. Yeah. Where people don't talk to each other nicely for many, many years, softly, gently, lovingly, because you were a happy family and everything seemed so happy and together, but then it was a blind side to everyone on the outside because there was something else happening on the inside, and that had poisoned the marriage. That poison had been festering for a long time until one day it was too much. So where does it start? I mean, what happens here? I mean, think about it, right? Most couples, they enter a marriage feeling close and connected to their spouse. But sometimes patterns of unhealthy communication can drive a wedge between spouses and turn what was once a intimate, supportive relationship into one of loneliness, disinterest, or even contempt, hostility. Most people would like to rediscover the happiness and intimacy that they experienced in the early days of the marriage. But they don't know how to break that pattern of behavior that have caused them all the problems. It's really something interesting for most people, but unknowingly they don't know what to do. What do you think, Ms. Ma?
Yeah, but because if you are constantly having those thoughts, that my partner ignores me, and you probably feel like you are at your wit's end.
Mhm.
Your spouse is actually more than just your spouse. They're supposed to be your best friend, your protector, your benefiter. So do you feel like whatever you say or do doesn't matter? It's like you're talking to a brick wall.
Now, this happens constantly in our rooms where we hear he doesn't listen. She doesn't listen. She only wants to talk over me. She disrespects me. He doesn't care about what I think. He doesn't love me. This we hear often enough in our rooms. I mean, and that's like a starting point of every relationship because now they're considering separation. So in many cases, spouses begin to ignore each other because they are trying to escape from the conflict or the arguments. And often it's the wife who tries to maintain the relationship. You agree with that?
But sometimes guys, they may look to find new hobbies that will keep them out of the house or throw themselves into work.
Good. Yeah, that's
Ladies
also
may
true.
simply shut down and stop trying.
Yeah,
They may
true.
start spending more time out with friends or even doing various activities. Like some ladies go for hiking, some go for coffee with their friends. And they also...
We encourage it as well as a survival technique, am I right? True.
But this also can turn to a vicious cycle where each spouse finds other ways to meet their needs without the other.
Now, that's not a marriage. That's not collaboration. Because men generally don't deal with emotions as openly as women. And they will respond by trying to solve the problem rationally or by simply withdrawing. So I don't want to fight with you. Just leave me alone. And they bang the door and they walk out. Am I right? And Molana always says, make salam before you go. You know you're angry, but please make salam before you go. But that's how it is.
Yeah, the short circuits that intended purpose for marriage and causes the emotional gap between them to grow even larger.
Because that's disrespect that's happening. So if a simple discussion more often than not turns into a war of insults, your spouse may learn to cope with that situation by retreating into himself and turning out the negative communication. Like you said, Ms. Ba, they don't want to talk. They just want to withdraw. They just want to be by themselves. But then, is that a marriage or just that collaboration?
Yeah, because there should be emotional intimacy in a marriage where, the both partners are meeting each other's needs.
But see, that's very flowery words coming from me and you, right? We might say, oh, you need to live healthy, only live on veggies, and you must cut down on your red meat and all that. But we know we need the steak and the mutton curries and braais are part of our life. But at the end of the day, what we are saying is that this is not normal. And by step, you have to get back to that healthiness that way you were. So if we are saying cut down on the red meat, it's not good for cholesterol. And we are saying that don't ignore your wife or don't ignore your husband. Try and understand them. You can't live apart. Because tell me something, right? When two people are living together, let's say for the kids' sake or for financial reasons, because it's hard to make it on your own. And you know what? It's rough out there. But isn't that already like a invisible divorce, Ms. Ba?
Yeah, but when people come and they sit in our office, and that's what we do, we take them to a little bit in the past where they don't like to go in the past, but in a sense where we talk to them about where they started drifting apart, where this whole separation started settling in, and they didn't even realize that
because there had to be a crack.
Yeah,
there had to be an argument, there had to be a trauma, there had to be an incident. Some hurt that happened, and that's when they withdrew.
They just gave up on each other.
Yeah, they didn't attend to it. That's why when we talk a lot about infidelity, we talk about trauma, we talk about all kinds of things that happen in marriages. And if it's not addressed and you just swept under the carpet, then how are you going to address this thing 5, 6, 10 years later when you don't even remember too much about it and you're not get over it, man? You make too much of a big deal. But I'm hurt. I don't want to do this. This is what we hear day in, day out.
And I heard a lot that I was disappointed in him. Ladies, they feel okay. There was a big argument or something, and then they apologize. So it's gone. But there's a lot of effort that women are looking forward to. That maybe my husband will change now.
That's a key word you mentioned now. Effort. A woman really looks for that, and when she doesn't get that, she gets very disappointed. So no one is to blame in this scenario. It's simply a matter of different communication styles. Because when a woman complains, it's her way of approaching the subject and trying to kind of like solve the problem. But when approached in this manner, however, a husband might feel criticized and respond with criticism of his own to retreat from the relationship. When this becomes a habitual problem, it can have a devastating impact on the marriage, meaning he doesn't want to talk about it, and she always talks about it by starting with her feelings, how hurt she is, how disappointed she is. Anyway, don't disappoint us now. We're waiting for your messages to come through. So please, WhatsApp is WhatsApp is 060 904 1056. SMSs on my line. This is our personal line, 083 7789 314. And if you want to, we live on Facebook, as always. Alhamdulillah, we are live. You can watch us on Facebook, and you can drop us a message if you want.
Or you can visit Lifestyle Center.
Oh, let's talk about Lifestyle Center. We're going there just now.
Yeah,
I think
coffee,
so. Yeah. Coffee. So you know about Lifestyle. They sponsored the show. Alhamdulillah. Amazing people. They are fantastic setup. It's such a very interesting place because there's so many people are always there. It's like the new hive, where all our busybodies, us bees get together. You know what I mean? But it's got a fantastic vibe about it. The Lifestyle, you walk in there, it just gives you a feeling of, what, can I taste this? Can I want this? And look, why not? I'm not talking about living unhealthy or eating too much, and we should control our nafs. But I'm talking about where, you can make yourself happy because you had a hard week. And if you have that coffee or you have that samosas that you bought, or that, the heat and eat situation there with those pies and oh my, but you deserve that. And we're not talking about eat the whole 6 now. I mean, eat one and share with the wife and the kids as well. I know a lot of you guys will say, ay. But anyway, so
if we come out of the script a little bit and we speak personally.
Do.
Okay.
Asif is, look at Asif. Ooh, he's interested now.
What keeps a marriage alive, or happy marriage or relationship very healthy after 20 years or 30 years of marriage? Because what we're talking about, 2 people drifting apart or a cold marriage. And in every marriage, there's ups and there's downs.
Communication.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can I ask all the ladies from the addendum and outside to please join us? We'd like to start this program.
Okay, that was loud.
Okay, that was loud. I think that was the feed coming in from the live cancer situation. They'll be starting
from the Cancer Association, Ansaar Cancer Association.
Sorry about the
May
glitch.
I ask you please to gather your ladies and move them into the hall area so that we can resume this program in at least 1 minute's time?
Sorry about that. That was a little bit.
Question.
Please repeat the question.
So what keeps a marriage alive after 20 years of marriage?
So many years ago, somebody once told me, what, marriage is about communication, but how to communicate. If a couple sits down and talks about how important they are to each other, that means you fulfill me, you complete me. Without you, I won't even be able to eat. My mother doesn't live anymore. Where am I going to get a meal? I'm going to go and eat like a beggar by my sister.
Yeah, this kind of marriage I'm talking about.
I appreciate you.
Egos doesn't clash.
Right. So vulnerability. Communication is also vulnerability, humility. From there, you can get respect. From the respect now, then we'll start valuing each other. See, you respect your job. You don't want to lose your job.
Value your job.
You value your job because of money. So if you value your wife, you value your husband because of the lifestyle that you had. You have homeostasis, you have a calmness in the house. The kids are happy. No man wants to be a weekend father. No man wants to see his kids on the weekend when he misses his kids every day, coming home and seeing their smiling faces. Yeah, he don't spend a lot of time with them and he's always stressed out and all that. But knowing that he comes home to see his dad, to his kids, and they say, Dada. I mean, dad is a very important word. So she's important for that. So you have to respect that. You have to be humble about that. You mustn't think yourself better than her. After 20 years, you should know that you are not better than your spouse. Whether she's made sacrifices and compromises, and usually women do. They all don't walk into a princess kingdom. You have to assimilate, and he can't take you out, or maybe he can't buy you jewelry. He can't take you for that business class umrah, unless it's depending on his dad, because most men can't do it. Some can, alhamdulillah. Most men can't. They're building, but you build with him. So you made those things, but you can't now hold a grudge against him. I made so much of sacrifices. I made so much of compromise. A lot of ladies, unfortunately, feel very hurt about that. You didn't sacrifice, you compromised, you built with your husband. Likewise with him, I work very hard for you. Nobody's asking you to work hard. Look, I'm a man. I also say the same thing sometimes to myself, but I got to ask myself a question. Nobody's stopping you and taking a break. And more important, she'll tell you, listen, we don't need extra. We need you. So, I don't know, does that answer your question?
Because, after so many years of your marriage, whatever, as a woman I'm talking about, right? Whatever you have done, whatever you have sacrificed, you don't want to be arrogant about it, but at least you want to be acknowledged. You want your husband to be thankful, to be grateful, not somebody who says, okay, I have to worship the ground she walks. No, but at least a little bit of appreciation if he can show, or he can be nice to her.
But when we come in the picture, it's not about niceness. It's about abuse. because he swears at her. The biggest problem with the divorces, if there's one thing that if you pull that, that'll be the power cord, is how we speak to one another. If we speak to one another in a very respectable tone, like how I speak to a colleague, how I speak to a companion, because at the end of the day, there's one line that really everybody has to ask themselves, and this, listeners, I'm asking you to listen carefully. Is she my friend? Is he my friend? Because if they are your friends, you never speak to them how you'll speak to each other, swearing at each other, talking nonsense. I mean, yesterday Maulana said the same thing. He got a letter, and he said that this lady said that her house is a mess because her husband only swears, and now the kids are swearing her to it as well. Now, can you imagine, where's the barakat in that? Is that a Muslim household? Is this what we've become, where we just giving into our passion and our nafs, where we just say what we want to say? You can't do that.
So today in the show, we're not talking about tips. We're talking about where they exactly drifted. So now how you said that, oh, this house is a mess. So where the mess started? If we can just talk about that.
The mess started when we lost perception of each other. There was a fight, and he changed his perception that she's just using me, which is nonsense. She looked at him and said, no, he's an abusive person.
I'm being abused in this marriage.
Which is nonsense. Abuse means that you're not getting any benefit. You're only getting a meager survival mechanism. Then this needs to be addressed. If you think you're just living in his house and eating food because you have to cook and take care of it, then you have to sit down with him and say, see, I came in as a companion and now I'm looking like a maid. Right? And I don't ask for a salary, but I ask for payment in terms of respect. This has to be communicated. Sometimes you can't talk to the husband because he says, listen, I haven't got time for your stories and your nonsense. Take it to your parents. And if you don't like it, there's the door.
For a lot of time, there's also outside influence on a husband.
Like Instagram and social media.
Not only that. But there's somebody who's telling the husband or the wife, they're giving them wrong advice.
Look, you got to be careful of your environment. If I'm going to be in the environment of people who are regularly missing their salah, then they'll tell me, listen, you know what, don't go now. I mean, you can read your namaz later. And that's what exactly is going to make me lazy. But if I'm with my friends, and yesterday was a typical example, before we did anything, we performed a Maghrib Salah. And shout out to those guys if you are listening. You know what? Thanks, bros. You know what I mean? You guys, you know what I mean? You'll really rock. And with the permission and obviously blessing of my wife, because she encourages me to do this. So once a week, I associate with good guys. Alhamdulillah. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to have some friends that bring you closer to Allah Pak, who have a wonderful demeanor, an optimistic outlook. They have a good way forward. It's nice to have some bromances outside of your house, but generally, if they're going to tell me like, you know, women just eat our brains and all, you know, I need some time
so
off.
Just to clear for the listeners,
okay,
Faizal wasn't going to his friends. Him and his sons were going to play soccer.
That's the reason why I went out, because my children need that stimulation. And that is why I will put myself through a rigorous extreme situation where my legs pain the next day, but it's all worth it. And the guys, they have good environment. And I don't know if they're listening, but you know what? Thank you guys. You know what I mean? Because my children are happy there, and they respect an Uncle Imtiaz and Uncle Fahim and Uncle Hassan and Uncle Rishad. So I'm not taking everybody's name, but you know who you are, right? But that's what I'm saying. Environment is very important. Because now if you're going to go onto a soccer field and they're swearing, then what my children are going to learn?
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, these are good guys that never say a bad word. Alhamdulillah. So Uncle Miley, Uncle Faisal, Uncle this, Uncle that.
Because if you are in a marriage and you both are good people and both are trying, definitely there's a lack of communication. But there's something called miscommunication. And that can come with outside influence and unnecessary arguments, and then they drift apart.
Because that influence is very important. You know, one kind word, don't fight with your wife. Your wife is a good person. She's given you a lot. Go home, kiss her, hug her, and tell her I appreciate you. And you'll see immediately she'll soften towards you. I don't know how many times that's worked with us.
Yeah.
Just generic advice.
I know a lot of time. Take flowers for your wife.
Oh,
take her favorite chocolate. Yeah, that
flowers is not a waste of money. Flowers is when she compares herself to that, because you have related her to flowers, so she feels very good.
But also, ladies, you can take flowers for your husbands too if he has done something good.
Well, you do this for me. Alhamdulillah. You've done this for me, and it had a major impact.
Not flowers, and something else that he likes.
Yeah, you got to know your husband. I mean, after so many years, even if you're newly married, you know his likes and dislikes, the particular itar that he wears, or the particular cap, or the shoe he likes, or whatever he likes. If you buy him, maybe there's a particular type of khajur he likes too. Like, you know what I like, right? So if you just have to buy something for him and say, you know, there's a chocolate for you or something, it makes a lot. Gifts strengthen the relationship, ties hearts, and binds us together. But at the end of the day, this cold divorce that we're talking about, this invisible divorce that appears, eventually the spouses think that, you know what, I'm getting no companionship in this marriage. I'm getting nothing in this marriage. Why not we just formulate and, formalize it? But they don't understand the impact it's going to have on the kids, because the kids are going to be unstable. They're going to dad, they're going to mom. Then it's that question mark that says that, you know what, do I have a dad? Because what happens when he gets remarried? Do I have a mom? What happens when she gets married? Because so many wives, unfortunately, have to give up their kids because they have to look at their husbands. And a lot of kids get very angry when their mothers try to move on. Now you see how bad that is.
But also what's very harmful is accusation, or maybe bullying or giving commands.
Well, you see, when you're going to berate your husband in that sense, or you're going to berate your spouse in that sense, you're going to talk to your wife in that way, then that's what's going to happen. And this is what leads to that kind of like disrespect and that isolation. Because why should I love somebody who disrespects me, who hates me, talks rubbish to me? Why should I speak that way? So this will only cause anger and resentment, and will deepen the divide between you. Am I right?
Yeah, when you say things like, you never listen to me, and you don't care about me. You are like this and you are like that.
I think that happens in every marriage. Because we hear that every single
as
time.
a man, when you hear that, how do you feel?
If it's directed to me, and it has been directed to me,
you're my husband.
Come on.
Yeah.
So my job is now to convince you that perhaps you are mistaken. You are now in a different scenario. You are not exactly, you're mistaking what's happening.
Yeah.
So
then interrupting or raising your voice.
No, that's rude. If I interrupt you, you interrupt me, that's rude. And talking in a high tone is always disrespectful.
Then attack and defense cycle.
Yeah, you said this and keep it going. Yeah, unfortunately, we have run short of time. But you know what? It was an interesting topic, and you heard us giving you our pro-co. But alhamdulillah, at least for the opportunity to speak to you guys at least. And then unfortunately, we have to now go towards the meeting that's happening at the moment. Remember, this show is proudly sponsored by Home Lifestyle Home Center and Ratio Cafe. So listen to me nicely, guys. Go there. It'll definitely be worth your while. Inshallah. Remember, our phone number, if you are thinking about divorcing or you are in a distressful situation, please don't hesitate to ask us. We can help you guys out. 083 7789 314. 083 7789 314. Till next week, inshallah, from my amazing co-host, Misbah.
And I would like to apologize if we didn't have enough time to read your WhatsApp messages. I promise we'll read it next time.
Inshallah. Sorry about that, guys, but we'll catch up with you guys next week, inshallah. Till next week, remember, don't divorce. Call us first. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
अता कर दिल बदल दे मौला या खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे
Dil Badal De is proudly brought to you by Lifestyle Food and Home, your elite culinary destination. Vodacom Shop for smartphones, laptops, routers, asset insurance, gaming, IoT, payment platforms, and the latest gadgets to always keeping you in the forefront of innovation and technology. Home and business internet to ensure that you have the best connection. Plug and play home internet to fully installed fiber. Our infrastructure provides a resilient platform for your critical business.